Hello everyone, welcome to the Code Goat. And in the first part of this series, we learned about what is API using this example. So from this example, it is clear that the API is the one who is responsible to transfer the request of application 1 to application 2, and the API is the only one who is responsible to transfer the response of application 2 to application 1. If you are new to this API or you don't know about the request and response cycle, then I will recommend you to go to our first part. The link of that video you can find into the description, or you can click directly onto the screen which is present right now. So let's dig more into this request and response to understand more about the API. So again, here it is me, and what I do is I'll normally go to the computer which is connected to the internet, and into the internet I will open the Google. After opening the Google, I want to access Facebook, so I will provide the website URL of the Facebook which it will open, and I can access Facebook through the Google. So what basically I'm doing, actually I want something from the internet. And what internet is providing? It is providing me the Facebook, the thing which I wanted to access. So it is me who wanted something, and it's my computer which is providing me something. So let's come into this client server thing. What is client? Client is someone who wants something, and server is someone who provides something. Actually, into this API world, everything comes between the client and server. So from this point, we are going to use client and server in place of application 1 and application 2. So if someone is wanting something, that is client, and someone who is providing something, that is server. So in this case, I am the client and my system is the server, because through the server only I am getting something which I wanted. Again, from the example of my first video where I wanted to eat something and the restaurant was there which is providing me the sandwich, it means I was the client and that restaurant was the server. Again, if I want to play a game, again, it's me who wants something, and that game is the one which is giving me the joy. So again, that game is the server and I'm the client. Now let's dig into the more examples. Again, client is the one who wants something and the server is the one who provides something. From the first video, when we talked about a game in which we created the high score and we wanted to post that high score to the Facebook. Again, it is the game which want to post its score into the Facebook. It means that game is the client and that Facebook is the server. See, server is that entity which is there to provide something, and client is the one who is doing the action, who wants something. Again, the same game in which I created the high score, I wanted to post that high score to the Instagram. Again, that Instagram is the server and that game is the client. So it means that application 1 which I was using is the client, and the application 2 in which I was going to send some data, or I was going to send my high score, was the server. So now we understand that what is client and what is server. It means that API thing is working between the client and server. So we are going to recreate this chart again. So previously we had this app 1 and this app 2. So now this app 1 is the client and app 2 is the server. So this API will transfer the request of client to server, and this API will transfer the response of server to client. So we transited from taking requests from user to application or application to client to server. So currently we are going to use these words. client and server. Whenever I will say the client, it means that application or the user who is sending the data or who wants to do some action. And the server is the one which will do the action on the request of client. So now I think we understood about this client server terminology. Now, this client and server, this client will send the request to server and the server will send back the response to the client. But how? Using API. But how that API will do these all things? It is because of HTTP. See, this client and server works on the application layer of OSI model. Don't need to think about anything extra about it right now, because in the next part I will discuss about this HTTP, so we can get bit more clear picture about this API. But for now, I just created the example. If you go to your browser and at the URL section, if you see, you will always find this HTTPS there. This HTTPS, it's the protocol. It's the protocol, or you can say it's the first address. After that address, you are going to provide your URL. In this way, we are providing the browser the information, okay, use the HTTP to get into the address which I wanted to access. Okay, so it's the one part which we will discuss more about more about it into the third video. Let's move into the request and response part. So it's the one thing which I wanted to show because it's the part of this client and server thing. So again, this client and server, client is sending request to server using API and server is sending back response to client using API. So what types of request a client can send to the server? When client do not provide anything new to the server and just get the information. For example, if you're going to a restaurant, so the first thing you do is you ask for the menu. In this way, you are not asking restaurant to do anything into the kitchen. Whatever the information they have, they will provide you. It means you are just simply getting the data out of the restaurant. So it's a get request. The second one, post. When client provide new information to the server. Again, the game app which we were using and in which we created the high score, we wanted to show that data to the Instagram so that all the other people who are present into the Instagram can see that I created the high score into this game. So that Instagram was there already. And if you send this data or your high score to the Instagram, it means that data will be there into the Instagram forever. And for this information to be there forever, it need to store it. So you created a new data into the Instagram server. It means you are creating a new thing into the Instagram using your game. So you are posting something. So this is the post request. Coming to the third one, which is put. Let's say you have your profile into the page Facebook and you are single till now. And after a few days, you are going to get married. So what you will do is you are going to update your marital status into the Facebook. See, the data was already there. Your information was already there. What you are doing is you are updating that information. So again, you are doing something into the server and it's a request. So it's a put request. The last one, the delete. Let's say you are deleting some post of the Instagram from your user ID. You have created some post and which is a bit more you do not like, or it have some sensitive information which you don't want to share. So what you're going to do is you will delete that post. So that Instagram was there, your post was there. Once you deleted it, that Instagram will not show that data again to anyone. It means you deleted that record from the Instagram server. So you did the four operations: get, post, put, delete. These are the four major operations which API supports in the request. So this is the talk about the request. What about the response? If I'm sending some data or something from the request to the server, then it means server will respond me back something, and which is response. So definitely the response will have their types too. Okay, coming to the types of response. So this response, when I sending something to server or something to Facebook or Instagram, there are only two options. Either that will work or that will not work. It means either Facebook will show that data or update that data, or Facebook will deny it. It means when response is there, response will be either successful or failed. Successful means whatever the action you wanted to perform, it executed successfully. Failed means whatever the action you wanted to perform, it denied it. It got failed. So simply, there are only two responses. But how this UI means user interface of your application, understand that the response is successful or failed. It depends on these type of codes, 200x, 400x, 500x. But what are these? These are the status code. So whenever you send some request into the server will response server will give back the response using these status code. These status codes will be read by the programs which are running your user interface. User interface means which are running your Facebook or your Instagram or your software. So once when they get the response from the server from which you are interacting, they will read these status codes, and based upon these status codes, they will show you the next screen. If your data is updated successfully, it means the server will give back the response of 200, and that 200 will be converted into the successful window. If the server is returning the response of 400 or 500, it means that program will convert that status code into the error window. So this is the only reason why you see sometimes the error window on your screen or your application. So what this X number is, this X is the series, and this is 201, 202, 404, 500. You don't need to worry about it, because in the next part, when we will discuss about this HTTP, we are also going to discuss about this 201, 202, 404, and 500. In the next part, we are also going to see how these application uh, catch the responses and how it shows to you. Like what's the logic behind the application, or what's the logic behind the software. So that's it for this part, and I hope you understood about the request and response. So be with me and subscribe for more information about the API or in-depth knowledge. And let me know in the comments what part you are still confused, or what part I need to improve so that I can deliver you the knowledge more clearly. Thank you.